G1 Climax 30 has concluded, and we have ourselves, at least for now, a certified championship match at Wrestle Kingdom Night 1. Night 1? Yes, you heard that right. I said Night 1, because it's been confirmed that for a second year in a row, we will be getting 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom action live from the Tokyo Dome on January the 4th and January 5th, 2021. How will it shape up? Who actually won the G1 Climax? What are the stories coming out of the G1 and into the next tournaments, the World Tag League, and Best of the Super Juniors 27? And what are my predictions for the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament? We'll cover all of that and more on this episode of the Chill Spill Podcast. The S is silent, by the way. What is going on, guys? It's your boy Tyler Coon Williams, aka Tyler Mask, aka Tyler Suplex, aka the one who thought he lived, and welcome to another episode of the Chill Spill Podcast, where the S is silent, much like all the Sanada fans after the G1 Climax Finals. Guys, man, I know what you're thinking. Tyler, you said you were going to start doing the Chill Pill Podcast every week. Guys, listen, I've been saying this for the last year now, okay? I'm just not how do I phrase this? It's not that I don't like doing podcasts. I don't not like doing it. You guys notice how I just said I don't not like doing it, but not that I do like doing it. I don't not like doing it. I'm so used to making YouTube videos and giving my thoughts on things right then and there that I don't really ever feel the need to do a podcast. But now that I feel like I'm doing a lot more of my focusing on Twitch and on Patreon and might be doing some other platforms very soon, that I feel like there is some room for me to actually do podcasting now. Now, this is not confirmation I'll be doing it every single week, because I've been saying that for the last 3, 4, 5 different podcasts. So I feel like saying it again would just be me repeating myself in an empty lie. So I might as well just say, listen, we're doing this episode 16 here. I'm not going to say there's going to be episode 17 in 1 week or 2 weeks. Whenever there's news to cover, when I feel like there's a reason to do an episode, then I'll do an episode. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. It may change. Like I said, as weeks goes on, I'm doing more Twitch streams and I'm doing, less YouTube videos. Maybe I'll actually get that itch to want to talk more about professional wrestling off stream, and I'll make me want to do podcasting more often. Who knows? But that aside, also, one thing I want to address here, it's not even anything to address. It's one thing I know I've noticed, and I don't do this intentionally, but whenever I do my intros to my videos now, because I used to be like, hey, what is up, you guys? It's Tyler, welcome back to the top. And let me tell you, man, on Twitch and on Patreon and my Discord, I get so many people who always say welcome back, because I've been doing that for the last 3 years on my YouTube channel, and I barely do it anymore. I feel like I kind of don't do it because that's what I used to do on my Tyler Coon Williams channel, and I don't do that channel anymore. Not that I don't want to, it's just that I can't, because I'm still in pending deletion. I have been for the last going on 2 months now. I literally just feel like that part, that intro is just on the Tyler Coon Williams channel. I feel like being on this platform and being on other places, just do a different intro, which is why I'm like, yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Tyler Mask, aka Tyler Coon Williams, aka I try to change it up too. If I'm on Twitch, I'll start off with Tyler Suplex. If I'm on YouTube, I'll start off with Tyler Mask, and if I'm on here, I'll start off with Tyler Coon Williams, because it's patreon.com/Tyler Mask, but the Tyler Coon Williams name is what you first see on here, which I don't not like using the name Tyler Coon Williams anymore. I just like using the name Tyler Mask and Tyler Suplex for marketing purposes. But enough about me. I know you guys are here because you want to hear about this New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tyler, what is going on with the G1 Climax 30? What are your thoughts on it? And if you are here and you're listening to this on Patreon, big shout out to all my Patreon backers. I was going to do this at the end of the show, but I'll do it at the very beginning, since a lot of you are probably listening to it right now. I don't know if all of you are going to make it to the end of the podcast when it gets up on YouTube or whatnot, so I'll shout them out here, because why not, as I'm scrolling through my list here. So I'm going to give a big shout out to my Patreon backers right now. Mason Golden, otherwise known as Mason Goldberg on YouTube. Big shout out to him. He was the first Patreon backer we've had. Big shout out to Heather Rice, Aaron Caravan, NJPW Fan 10, who recently upgraded from a $1 tier to a $10 tier. So big shout out to NJPW Fan 10. I appreciate you, man. And our newest patron, Liam Verse 1. So big shout out to those 5 guys, and you can be just like them and be a Patreon backer if you go to patreon.com/TylerMask. I have 3 tiers. There's the $1 tier where you get access to my NJPW content, such as reviews, older videos I've done, soon to be some actual video essays I'm going to be doing. That's all going to be on Patreon and YouTube as well. I mean, some of it that has no imagery will be on YouTube. The Patreon stuff will have the imagery and whatnot, because they ain't gonna come over here and try to fuck with me. Well, I like to think that they won't. Also, you can upgrade to the $5 tier, which is where you get a lot more to offer. You still get the New Japan Pro Wrestling content, but you also get more content. You get free access, early access to all my YouTube videos that I'm uploading in future, like the bigger ones. I just did my top 10 AEW Dynamite matches video. That went up on Patreon first. The Patreon backers saw that first. You could have been like them, bro. Well, you could have went over here, put in $1. No, $5. That's how much that is. We also get access to some of these podcasts that I'm doing now. You get early access to that as well. You get a lot more with that $5 tier than the $10 tier. Soon, I can't say tomorrow or next week, but soon I'll be doing Patreon exclusive content. So separate videos that will never even be seen on YouTube. And if they are seen on YouTube, won't be for like weeks at a time. They'll be up on Patreon first and probably even permanently on Patreon. And you could be seeing those videos if you subscribe to that $10 tier. Now, you don't have to go above 1, 5, or 10, but if you do, I appreciate you very much. Also, a plug for my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TylerSuplex. Guys, we got to 69 followers on Twitch right now. Nice. I know. Nice. I'm a child. I'm sorry. But we're at 69 followers. I want to try and get to 100 followers by, let's say by Thanksgiving. Let's try and make it to 100 followers. If you're listening right now and you're not following me on twitch.tv/TylerSuplex, go follow me right there, because that's where I'm most active right now. I'm not making as many YouTube videos. I'm putting a lot of my time on Twitch. If you're listening to this at the beginning of the week of October the 25th, I'm actually going to be streaming there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to be streaming on Tuesday and Thursday morning. I'm going to be streaming AJW Dream Slam, All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling Dream Slam. Apparently, this is one of the greatest wrestling events that have ever happened in the history of ever. Now, I've seen a handful of All Japan Women's matches. Of course, Manami Toyota is the fucking greatest. Aja Kong, Akira Hokuto. Like, I know some of these names. I don't know a lot of them. I haven't seen a plethora of matches, but we got 3 disc sets to go through, and we'll be going through each of those starting Tuesday and then going into Thursday and then Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that as well. On Wednesday, we seem to have just migrated a lot of our AEW Dynamite streams over to twitch.tv. So AEW Dynamite 7:30 Eastern time. Pull up then. And then Saturday, there will be nothing going on that day. And then Sunday, Hell in a Cell. WWE Hell in a Cell. I know. You guys are thinking like, you don't watch WWE pay-per-views like that. No, I don't. But Twitch content. Content. Why not? And you know what? You know what else? This Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso feud, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that shit's fucking cool. I love that feud. This, like, Clash of Champions, Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns has got to be one of my favorite matches that's happened all year. So much deep storytelling, and it was just a brutal beatdown. It wasn't your average championship match. It wasn't your average WWE match. I'll be honest, I didn't even feel like that was directed by WWE. It felt like it was done by a different company. A better company. Let me not say UW, but a better company. But no, it was a WWE product, and guess who it was featuring? Roman Reigns. A guy who once upon a time was the most hated individual in the company. And now look at him. I mean, I suppose you're supposed to hate him because he's a heel now. But back then, he was a babyface. You weren't supposed to hate him, but we all hated him, let's be honest. Now, he's a heel, and everyone loves him. Exactly what everyone predicted. He turns heel, and everyone's cheering for him. That's just what happens with wrestling fans. We just like to be indifferent all the time. We like to be on the flip side. That's just how we are. WWE should have got used to that by now. But Roman Reigns is, right now, I would say, my favorite part of WWE. Like, main roster WWE, I don't watch Raw. I don't watch SmackDown. Not even week to week. Like, I don't watch it, period. Like, I don't even watch the YouTube clips anymore. But I try to stay up to date through my fellow podcasters and YouTube videos. I stay up to date what's going on. And from time to time, I do check out the YouTube clips, and Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are probably the segments I frequent the most because the promos just feel authentic and everything about this is great. So for the main event, really alone, I'm tuning in to Hell in a Cell, but I'm like, you know what? I get off at 7:30, which is, half an hour into Hell in a Cell. I'll get home, I'll boot up my camera, and we'll live stream Hell in a Cell until it ends, which is probably going to end at like 9. So I'll only be live for like an hour and a half. Probably throw some MBC, some map-based combat at the end. Who knows? But that's the Twitch stream schedule this week. So tune in for those. If you're listening in, you don't know, now you know. That being said, after all that plugging, let's finally get into some New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, G1 Climax 30 just ended yesterday. Today, as I'm recording this, it is October the 19th. The finals concluded yesterday. I thought overall, as a whole, not just A block, B block final, as a whole, collectively, I thought the tournament was, it was really good. And I feel like because I've seen 2 G1 Climaxes live in real time. G1 Climax 28 and G1 Climax 29. This is my third, real time, watching as it's going G1 Climax. Of course, I've seen G1 finals before from other G1 Climaxes. I've seen the G1 27 finals between Tetsuya Naito and Kenny Omega. I've seen the finals between Kenny Omega and Hiroki Goto at 26. I've seen the finals between Okada and Shinsuke Nakamura at 24, I think. Was it 24? It was either 24 or 25. I've seen I've seen quite a few. I've seen some other G1 Climax matches, like Tomohiroishi versus Katsuyori Shibata from G1 Climax 23, which is one of the greatest, under 15-minute matches you'll ever see. I recommend you check that out if you've never seen it before. So, long story short, I've seen G1 Climaxes before. If I had to rank the ones I've seen, at least the full-length ones I've seen, so just 3 I'm ranking, I would say 28 is definitely the best one of the bunch that I've seen. And I think I might have a little bit of a bias there because it was the first one that I've seen, and I was really very naive to a lot of the booking. I was just getting a hold of everybody. I was just getting warmed up to what was to come for me coming into the future. So I feel like 28 I have a little bit of a bias towards, but I'll put that as number 1. Number 2 will definitely be 29. 29, we saw John Moxley, Shingle Takage. We saw Taichi in his first G1, Jeff Cobb in his first G1. A lot of first-timers in G1 29 last year. Will Ospreay was in the G1 as well. You saw a lot of great matchups. Okada versus Ospreay is one that still sticks out to me. The finals was amazing. The finals between not Okada. I'm thinking about G1 25 now. The finals between Bushi and Jay White was just awesome. It was just a lot that was going on in that tournament. Also, Bushi winning, and I basically in that direct moment, I'm like, if I was not going to Japan then I'm going to Japan now. It was that moment when Ibushi won the G1 Climax 29 finals is like, I am dead ass going to Japan come hell or high water. And I already was saving up because, if Ibushi wins, then I'm definitely going. If he doesn't win, then, I probably will end up going, but I'm not entirely sure just yet. But when Ibushi won, I'm like, yes, this is the moment. I'm going to the Dome to see him win. Now, that didn't happen, but he won. It was the culmination. I felt like it was really just the build-up of me becoming, really getting aware of New Japan because of Kota Ibushi. If you guys don't know, my first New Japan Pro Wrestling match ever was Kota Ibushi versus Prince Devitt versus Kaval. Not Kaval. Kaval, my God. Versus Low Ki. I said Kaval because it was his time at NXT. Versus Low Ki from Wrestle Kingdom 7. Now, that was back in, I think, Wrestle Kingdom 7. We're on 15 now. And that was 8. So that would have been, what, 2013? 2013? 2012? Either way, that was a long time ago. I saw that in 2015 after Finn Balor debuted. I wanted to get some, get some meat on him, see what he's all about. And the first match I saw of his in New Japan was that triple threat. And the one guy I really had my eye on, because I already knew who Low Key was. I saw that bald ass head, and I'm like, damn, I think that guy's Caval. And I saw like, man, that Kota Ibushi guy, he has something. I like that Kota Ibushi guy. And I fell down a rabbit hole. I saw a bunch of matches. My second ever New Japan match. Just a little trivia. My second ever New Japan Pro Wrestling match was Kazuchi Okada versus Hiroshi Tanashi from Wrestle Kingdom 9. Second ever match. I don't remember my third is, but I know that my first like Wrestle Kingdom match, aside from those two, like the first one that I watched that same year that it happened, it was Wrestle Kingdom 10, because I didn't start really getting into New Japan until like 2015 is when I really knew what it was and really So that first year when Shinsuke Nakamura and Kota Ibushi had their Wrestle Kingdom 9 match, and I saw that and I'm like, yes, this Kota Ibushi guy, I love him. That's my guy right there. Shinsuke Nakamura is awesome too, and he ended up signing with WWE, and now everyone was over the moon about it. But Kota Ibushi, he had my heart, man. He had my heart. And then a year later, he was in the Cruiserweight Classic, and like everything, I'm like, oh my god, like Ibushi's gonna win. He's gonna come to NXT because I didn't know no better. But he lost. Little did I know, about a year later, Chris Jericho, he would make his way to Japan for his match with Kenny Omega Wrestle Kingdom 12, and through I think Kota Ibushi faced Cody that year for the U.S. Championship, if I'm correct. I believe it was Cody versus Kota Ibushi, and I think Cody beat Ibushi, which was looking back on it, just like I think even then I wasn't even a fan of Cody winning that match, because I was a Kota Ibushi mark, and I still am one. But Kota Ibushi was in that, and I was like, you know what? This guy right here, I'm following his career. And I felt like going into 29, that's when I knew I gotta go. Now we're a year out. Kota Ibushi managed to find himself into the G1 finals again. And I don't want to say it, don't make it seem like I'm saying again, like, again. But like, come on now. Let's be honest here. You listen to this podcast right now. Did you honestly expect Kota Ibushi to make it to the G1 Climax Finals? And not just win it, but did you expect him to make it to the A Block Finals and win it? Because I didn't. I, like many other people, thought it was going to be Jay White. And when it wasn't Jay White, I was like, oh, okay. But it was Kota Ibushi, and I'm like, yes, let's go. So Kota Ibushi, he made it on. Sanada ended up winning B Block. He's the only prediction I got right, because I predicted Jay White to win A Block and Sanada to win B Block, with Jay White winning A Block. So Sanada was the only person I got right going to the finals. So out of all of that, I say that to say that G130 sits at the back of my list, because there was just something this year, and I know part of it was personal things going on with me, and you guys know what's going on with me and YouTube and TBSI. I don't want to go over that again, but that really put a hampering on my enjoyment of this tournament to an extent, because you're watching this and you're really getting into it, whatnot, and then I remember that, oh man, I can't post this on YouTube. I can't really post my thoughts on my main channel I've been building up for 9 years. And, just that hearkening of seeing that TBSI, logo every time I'm watching this, because the TBSI logo is like dead center in the ring and on the apron, it just really bugs me sometimes. So partially that bugged me and it messed with me during some of these matches. And then the other thing was, I was live streaming for a lot of it, and normally I don't live stream for the G1 Climax. I like to be really engrossed and really into it by just watching it, taking notes, and doing a review afterwards. When you're live streaming, a lot of your attention is on the, like, for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, when I'm live streaming, I make sure my effort is in the chat. I am talking to the people who are consuming my content. That is where I'm at. I'm watching the show as well, but my intention is on the chat. If the chat is not talking very much, then I'm on the show. And if the chat is very active, then I'm in the chat. and I'm peeking at the show, seeing what's going on. And I know that sounds like I'm not really watching the show. I am, trust me. But when you're live streaming, you can't really get a full grasp of every single thing that happened. Because, I ain't gonna lie, there's some spots that I miss here and there that I have to go back and rewatch. Like, the whole, what happened? The whole Kota Bushi Taichi match that happened in the A-Block finals. Like, I did not remember a single goddamn thing that happened in that match, so I watched it back today. Like, honest to God, I barely remember the thing that happened because the chat was so active. There were so many people because that was the best live stream we ever did. Not the A-Block finals, but like it was a really good thing because I woke up like really late. That's part of it too. But I just like some of these matches I was not really entirely into because I was focusing on the chat, other things going on. So I feel like there was a lot of other elements that added into why I couldn't enjoy this year's G1 as much as I wanted to. Maybe if I had just reviewed this entire tournament, didn't live stream at all, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. Who knows? Anyway, if I had to grade this tournament as a whole, I would give it should I give it a 7.5? I'm gonna give it a 7.5 because I think giving a 7 would be due diligence. Because it was great. There was a lot of great matches in here. A lot of great stuff in here. I just feel like there was something about it that I just could not really get into it. And I already said it, so I'm not going to act like there was something I didn't know about. But going into the G1 Climax 30, I think it was a few days in. It wasn't exactly the finals. It was only October 7th edition of the G1 Climax. We had a VTR announcement. They was doing their intermission, right? And they announced the World Tag League. You guys hear the crickets going off right now? Yeah, that was everybody who ever existed and cared about New Japan when they announced the World Tag League. Like, I know for a fact I'm not the only person who doesn't give a damn about the World Tag League. Like, I've tried for the last 2 years to get invested in it. Like, 2018, I was kind of sort of in it, kind of sort of out of it. 2019, I ain't really give a fuck about the World Tag League, I'll be honest. Like, this year, it's just like, man, like, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, we are so used to tag team matches that the singles matches feel like a treat. You know what I mean? It feels like an actual treat. And when you're talking about a tournament that is nothing but tag team matches, like, oh my God, this is an AEW now. I feel like AEW is a way better tag division than New Japan does. And way better structured matches than New Japan does in their tag matches. So, like, when you say World Tag League, I'm ready to go, man. Like, oh no, I'll be back for whatever is after this. And I was also in that moment. I'm sitting here like, y'all really about to fill up time with the World Tag League? You mean tell me you don't want to do? Cause let's think about this here. It's October the 20th, which you're probably watching the video on October 20th, right? It's October 20th. You got 10 more days left in November. You got 31 days in November, I believe. That's at 10 days left in November. 10 days left in October. You got 31 days in November. Then you got 31 days in December. Then you got January, and it's Wrestle Kingdom time. So, this tournament's going to start in November and end in December. So, you're going to fill up basically a month and a half of time when you could be putting it into a destruction tour. You could be running the, what's it called? They put in between the G1, and you could be running another tour after that. Like, I feel like there was time and place to do the World Tag League in the non-COVID year, but this year, I would say skip it. But they decided we're going to do it. I'm like, okay. I guess I'm skipping it this year. Like, I'm not going to lie. In that moment of time, I was saying to myself, I guess I'm skipping it. Because I don't know if I really have the mindset and the patience to sit through another tournament. Because you got to remember something as well. We literally just finished a 19-day long tournament. And now you're asking me to go through another tournament? Another round robin tournament? Bitch, how much time in the day do you think there is? Like, come on. So, immediately after they follow up with another announcement that they're going to be having Best of the Super Juniors 27, and I was getting excited like, oh my God, Best of the Super Juniors is gonna be awesome. You know, I didn't think we were gonna get this year. We're gonna see a bunch of junior matchups. It's gonna be awesome. And then they announced that for the first time ever, at least to my knowledge, the World Tag League and Best of the Super Juniors will be coexisting at the same time this year. We are going to be having 2 tournaments happening. So, let me go through the schedule for you guys. It's going to be starting on November 15th and ending on December 11th. That's almost a whole 30-day stretch. So, here is the schedule for BOSJ and World Tag League. So, on November 15th, we'll be having the opening night of World Tag League and Best of the Super Juniors 27. So, both tournaments will be running on the same day for November 15th. Afterwards, it will be alternating days. November 16th will be the World Tag League. November 18th will be BOSJ. November 19th will be the World Tag League. November 20th will be BOSJ. November 22nd will be World Tag League. November 23rd will be Best of the Super Juniors. November 24th will be the World Tag League. November 25th will be BOSJ. November 28th will be the World Tag League. November 29th will be BOSJ. Does this already sound kind of tiring? Because it already does to me. November 30th will be the World Tag League. November, not November anymore. Now December. December 2nd will be BOSJ. December 4th will be World Tag League. December 5th will be BOSJ. December 6th will be the World Tag League and the Best of the Super Juniors Final League night. So that'll be another night where both tournaments will be existing. And then December 11th in the Budokan, the World Tag League and BOSJ will have their finals on the same day. So, counting this out, that is 17 days of action from 2 separate tournaments, which you'd think most NJPW fans will be amped for. And while I'm sure there are quite a few, if not maybe a lot, of crazy fans out there, I myself am exhausted already. 19 days of the G1 Climax, and don't get me wrong, we had some great matches in here. I'm not gonna act all ungrateful for having a G1 Climax this year, because we could have never had one this year. I'm not gonna be ungrateful. But we literally just had a turn. We're not having a breather. There is no. Today's the 20th. The tournament starts on the 7th. The 15th. You get 25 days, and then you are jumping right back into another tournament. G1 Climax and BOSJ are pretty spaced out. BOSJ happens in April, I believe, right? April. Then G1 happens in June. Then World Tag League, which is another round robin tournament, mind you, happens in November. That's a good 4 month space in between each 3 tournaments we have this year. That's not counting the Super Juniors Tag League, which no one gives a fuck about. That's not counting the New Japan Cup. That's not counting a Lions Break tournament, they have one. That's not counting a Super J Cup if they ever want to do one again. Like, that's not counting other tournaments in there. I'm talking about the main 3 round robin tournaments in New Japan that are happening this year around the same time, at the same damn time. So not only are you going to have to follow BOSJ, you're going to have to follow World Tag League too. You're going to have to pay attention. You're going to have to actually, like, if you're somebody who, you know, maybe doesn't use the internet that much, if you're not watching the shows like that, you're going to have to track down the scores and the records for both tournaments equally. That sounds stressful. For a content creator like me, at least, that sounds stressful. I'm not a big fan of this. If you guys have not told by the beginning, I'm not a big fan of them doing 2 tournaments at the same time in such a short period of time. If they would have done this, let's pretend like it's not COVID now. If they wanted to do this, G1 ends in August, then you do BOSJ and World Tag League at the end of the year, fine. But this is too close together for me. So that's all I'm going to say on that for right now. We'll come back to it in a little bit. Actually, let me touch on one more thing. Best of the Super Juniors is an interesting one because World Tag League is a round robin tournament in its own right, but it's a single block round robin tournament. You have 10 teams in one block. 10 teams, I think, something like that. Something like 10 teams in one block. What Best of the Super Juniors, much like the G1, there's 2 blocks. So exactly, how are you going to do a 2-block tournament in 10 days? Now, mind you, there's 10 designated days, but 3 of those days are going to be dueling days for both BOSJ and World Tag League. So now we're talking about only 7 designated days for Best of the Super Juniors. So how exactly are you going to run a 2-block round-robin tournament in 7 days? That I'm really curious about. I'm curious because I don't know how they're going to do the World Tag League this year. They could do a single block one, which they may have to do. I feel like they may have to do single block. I don't see how they do 2 blocks. I mean, my only assumption here could be maybe instead of doing a 10-man to a block, they do maybe 5 men to a block, and then that essentially gives you 2 matches from A block and 2 matches from B block, and that gives you 4 matches in 1 day. Now, the issue you run into here is that your tournament in 5 days, you'll be done. Like, if you do 4 tournament matches, 2 from each block every day, the tournament's done in 5 days, and there's 7 days designated for this tournament. So now it's like, well, how do you space it out? How do you determine what block has what day? Like, I don't know how they're going to do the Best of the Super Juniors. That's the really concerning one, is BOSJ. They haven't said anything. They haven't even told us who the hell's going to be in any of these tournaments so far. We're still waiting on the Road to Power Struggle Tour, which I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to watch the whole entire Road to Power Struggle Tour. I'll check out the important matches, which are probably going to be none of them because it's a bunch of tag matches. I'll check out the show where the participants are revealed, put it that way. So, the next question I'm sure a lot of you are asking is, what are my predictions for BOSJ and World Tag League? For BOSJ, I think the easy answer here is Hiromu Takahashi. I mean, he lost the championship to Taiji Shimori at Summer Struggle, and this will be a nice way to make it look like he kind of earned his rematch in a sense. So, I feel like Taiji and Hiromu, unfinished business. I think Hiromu wins. Now, if I had to go with a dark horse pick, because Hiromu is too easy after all, if I had to go with a dark horse pick, I will say that Sho wins. You know, Yo is still injured. To my knowledge, I think Yo is still injured. We haven't seen him since, I think, New Japan Cup back in March? Not March. Back in June, I think. He had a leg injury of some sort. So he's still out. We saw him in a tag match with Okada yesterday at the G1 Climax Finals, so we know he's not in the heavyweight division yet, even though he was in that tag match. But they may want to look into doing something with him, especially with what happened with Will Ospreay. They're down 2 Chaos members right now. They are down 2 Chaos members. So Sho winning BOSJ will definitely put Chaos on the map in that matter. And I love me some Sho Tanaka, man. Sho Tanaka's awesome. I think Sho Tanaka is a future star in New Japan heavyweight or junior heavyweight. And I think if you want to start really pushing that guy, because this is the time to do it when there's no Yo, the time to do it is nigh. Have him win BOSJ, go to Wrestle Kingdom. He don't have to win. I would love him to win, but he don't have to win. Have him go at Wrestle Kingdom and have him tear it up with Taiji Shimori. I don't know or remember if they've had a match before, but if they did, they probably kicked ass because both men are just that damn great at what they do. I would have him win. I would have either Sho or Hiromu win. If you want to go with the third one, and I don't want to do too many dark horse picks, I maybe say Despy. Despy just for shits and giggles. World Tag League. Who wins that? I mean, honestly, I don't give a fuck about the World Tag League, I'll be honest. But if I had to make a wild guess, we did see Ishii and Yano kind of getting beat down by the tag champions during the finals of G1 Climax. So, if that were any indicator, maybe Ishii and Yano. Like, I think Ishii and Yano won the 2018 World Tag League, right? Who won the 2018 World? Was it the Girls of Destiny? World Tag. Let me search this real quick. We doing this live. We'll do it live. Nah, Evil and Sanada won 2018. It was Juice Robinson and David Finlay who won World Tag League 2019. So where was Yoshi? Okay, no, it was Ishii and Yoshihashi last year. Okay, what am I talking about? Okay, Ishii and Yano was in 2018. Okay, so I had the team right. I just didn't have the winners right. They were right behind Sanada and Evil, who were tied with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Aren't you so glad Evil and Sanada broke up? Oh my god, I couldn't have imagined having to sit through another Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa versus Sanada Evil match. I would have goddamn put a bullet through my head. But well, let me not say that. Anyway, getting back to the real deal here. So that's my predictions for World Tag League. I got Ishii and Yano winning, and for BOSJ, Hiromu. Dark horse pick will be Hiromu. Dark horse pick for World Tag League will be my bed, because I will be sleeping during it. Let me stop. All right, hold on. Let me take a little bit of agua because my throat's getting a little parched here. gotta cleanse my palate there. Ugh. World Tag League, nasty. All right, getting into some more G1 Climax. I'm gonna be doing the Tyler Mask G1 Climax Award. Woo! Yeah, we got some winners. We got some winners here. So, I originally was gonna do a top 10 matches from G1 Climax, but decided I don't want to rank these matches. You know, I feel like if I say a match is great, check it out. Check it out. I mean, there's 10 matches here I'm going to be talking about. And originally was going to be a top 10. Then I said, let's do a top 5 for each. Top 5 for A block, top 5 for B block. Then I looked at B block and I said, well, damn, I don't think they had 5 great matches. So I guess it's going to be a top 4 for B block and top 6 for A block. Like, yo, I'll be honest, bro. B block was really great in like the first half. And then the last half was just like, I don't know what happened to B block in the last half of the G1, but like they started stinking it up. Like, let's all put our hands together for Tetsuya Naito, cause he carried this block on his back, baby. He carried this block on his back, cause Sanada, he wasn't doing shit for a lot of it unless he was in the ring with Naito. Evil was getting on my fucking nerves this entire tournament. Tanashi was doing his thing. You know, Tanashi, he's the GOAT, obviously, but he wasn't going to carry this block on his back. If Naito was in here, B-Block would have sucked ass. Let me just be honest. B-Block would have been ass if Naito was not here. So I'm glad Naito was there. A-Block in the beginning was really the snooze fest. Then they woke the hell up after day 5. And they were started filing on all cylinders after that. So, like, B-Block had a good run for, like, all of 2 days. All of 2 days did B Block have this tournament basically in the bag. But speaking of B Block, we'll start with B Block. Here are my top 4 matches from B Block this year for G1 Climax 30. In no particular order. Actually, I ranked it in order from which they came. Not this match is my favorite, but in order which they came. So, the first match on this list is Tetsuya Naito versus Hiroshi Tanashi from day 2. This match was just electric, man, and you know it's gonna be great because you have Tetsuya Naito, one of if not the best babyface in New Japan, versus the biggest babyface that New Japan has ever had in Tanahashi. You know, both guys had the energy in there, and if the crowd was able to cheer, it would have been even more favorable. But they just had a great match. It was the match you expect them to have. They had plenty of matches in the past. This one was no different. It was awesome. It was great. Naito got the dub. It was one of the best matches of the tournament. A lot of people pegged this as the best match of the tournament. I would say definitely maybe top 3, top 4, top 5 for me. Next match, Evil versus Yoshihashi from day 4. I know a lot of people didn't really like that match too much because Evil was in it, and I don't blame them because Evil sucked. But this match, I love this match. I felt like Yoshihashi carried Evil to his best match all year. I mean, the energy, the fighting spirit of Yoshihashi. Evil was in there actually wrestling like he actually knew how to wrestle. He remembered how to wrestle for this match. I can't speak for every match after that, but he remembered how to wrestle for this match. And he didn't cheat. Well, he did cheat. Never mind. So, I'm about to say he didn't cheat as much, but he did cheat. Yoshihashi had some really good hope spots in here. There was one point where Yoshihashi had his butterfly lock locked in on Evil. And he had this thing locked on Evil for like a good minute and a half. And it gave me like, when I think of like submission holds and like really long submission holds, one match sticks in my head forever, and that is Ember Moon versus Shayna Bazer from NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. 1, I was there, and 2, like Shayna Baszler at this point was a submission. She was like a submission machine. She was winning with all types of submissions, mainly the Karafuda clutch. But she could beat you with the armbar. She could beat you with a leg lock. She could beat you with a standard like bear hug if she wanted to. Like, if she had a submission locked in, she could beat you with it. And the story was Ember Moon had an arm injury going in, and Shayna was targeting that match all night, and she ended up locking this armbar. And Ember was struggling. The crowd's like, come on, Ember, come on, come on, come on. And Shayna's like, has it in. She's rushing in, and Ember's like, she's selling it like hell. She's like, she's in pain, but she won't tap. And she's trying to reverse, she's trying to roll, and Shayna keeps on rolling with her. And it's like, she's in this for so long, you're like, she's going to tap at some point. But you're like, no, stay in it, stay in it. And she tries to turn into a pin, and then Shayna puts her right back on her back, and you're like, no, no, no. And then she finally turns into the pin, and she wins the match, and it was so awesome. Like, it wasn't even a great match, but like that ending always stuck out to me. So whenever there's like that submission spot where they're in there for a long time, I always compare it to that match. Like, is the crowd excitement there? Is the does it really feel like they're selling the submission very well? Is there a chance they could win? Is there a chance they could kick out? That's how I measure these submission spot, like the long submission spots. And I really like the submission spot because Yoshihashi had it on Evil, and you didn't know if Evil was actually going to pass out or not, because there were times where Evil was going motionless, referee was going to check on him, and he would go and reach his hand out to the rope, and then Yoshihashi would bend his hand back like, yeah, like the little Pete Dunne shit, and it's like, yo, is Yoshihashi gonna tap this man out? And then Evil fucking reaches the rope, and you're like, God damn it. Like, that was the one moment I'm like, Yoshihashi better win this match, bro, but then he didn't, because Evil had to come in here, dick toe on all, and then low blowed him, and he won. But Yoshihashi was in here, he was the GOAT, he came in here and carried my man Evil to a match, so kudos to Yoshihashi. Day 4, that was really good. One of my favorite days. One of my favorite matches from the G1, by the way. Tetsuya Naito versus Sanada from day 8. I'm not a big Sanada fan. You guys all know this. It's not a new discovery. It's common knowledge at this point. If you come to the Tyler Mask Patreon page, the YouTube channel, the Tyler Kun Women's YouTube channel, the Tyler Suplex Twitch channel, and Sanada match on, get ready for the slander. It's coming. It's inevitable. I will give him props here. This man showed more personality than I've ever seen from him in this match with Naito. And, you know, it's Naito. Naito is just that great at bringing the best out of people. I mean, most people. I think there's some people where they can. But in this match, Sanada actually showed more emotion. I ain't going to say he busted out every move in the goddamn sun under the sun. But the moves he did actually felt like they meant something, and Naito being the aggressor, and then Sanada making that comeback, and him in the moonsault. You know, I wasn't cheering for Sanada at any point in time, but when he won, it was like, damn, bro, you earned that. Like, you beat Naito, you know what I mean? You earned that. You earned that victory. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. I can't hate on it. I don't like you, but I don't hate on your performance tonight. Good job, buddy. Good job. That was me doing this match. That's my summary of the match, by the way. Sanada versus Hiroshi Tanashi from day 16. I thought this was a really good match, as most Sanada versus Tanashi matches are. If there is one guy that you can guarantee will go in there and give Sanada a great performance, it's Hiroshi Tanashi. Now, I don't know what it is about these two and their chemistry that just seems to be like really good, and I know 85, 90, maybe even 95% of it is Tanahashi. But Sanada is in here, and he's doing his submissions, and Tanahashi's just such a great seller, and I don't want to speak too much on this. I thought it was a really good match. A lot of people said it was the best match of B Block. I wouldn't go that far, but it was definitely a really good match. Definitely one of my favorites from B Block. Those are my top 4 matches from B Block. We're going to head into the top 6 matches from A Block. Starting from the top, Shingle Takage versus Will Ospreay from day 5. Most of you should have expected this match to be on here. They had an absolute barn burner of a match at BOSA 26 finals last year. And this match, I wouldn't say it was as amazing as that match was, but it was a great match. It was a great match. Ospreay was a little bit more grounded in this match. He still did his flying moves. Shingo, he didn't go as fast as the BOSJ match, but it was a lot more hard hitting. There was a lot more I felt like the chemistry was a lot better. Like, what was that? There's a lot more chemistry between these men. A lot better psychology in a sense. I feel like there was a lot more flips and a lot more high spots in the BOSJ match. It felt a little bit more. I don't want to say watered down, because that's kind of a negative thing. It was a little bit more compact in here, and compact in a good way. I enjoyed it. A lot of people enjoyed it. Dave Meltzer enjoyed it. He gave it 5 stars. I think I gave this match an 8. I think I gave it an 8. I think when I first watched that, I didn't really think it was as great. As I watched it the second time, I'm like, damn, that was great. I enjoyed it. So that was that. Taichi versus Tomohiroshi from day 9. This match fucking rocked. And it's sad that not a lot of people give it its flowers because it's Taichi. But this match was so goddamn great. And all the matches they have are great. New Japan Cup 2019 was great. Dominion 2019 was great. G1 29 was great. This match, I felt like may have been their best match they've had. They were given more time. I think they got like 19 minutes. It was a lot more striking, way more fighting spirit spots from Taichi than I ever expected or even remembered. the kicks from Tai Chi, the lariat from Ishii, the chops dealt in for both men, just the energy and the vibe. The crowd was even more into it than I thought they would be. Like, this match just rocked on all cylinders. This is one of the matches I would say, go all your way to watch. It was that great. I love that match. Shingle Takage versus Kazuchi Okada from day 13. I thought this match was, if not one of the best match of G1 Climax 30. The match was just awesome. And it was due in part to Shingo. And I have to say that because Okada just did not pick up any more of the weight after this match. Like, Shingo maybe punched him in the head so hard he became the Rainmaker once again. I don't know what it was. But these two had the Rainmaker match, the Okada epic that you expected. And it's definitely a match I would say to go out of your way to see. Tomohiroishi versus Jeff Cobb from day 13. This match was everything you'd want out of a Hoss match and more. Jeff Cobb at one point had a capture suplex on Ishii, and he launched this motherfucker so high in the air. Ishii was like, ah! Like when he was flying in the air. I thought that was actually kind of funny. I almost laughed when that happened. But Cobb was launching Ishii. Ishii wasn't even having that shit. He was chopping him and lariating him and hitting the enziguris and the powerbomb. And even the finish. The finish was awesome. Like, everything about this match was just great. Like, they've had matches in the past, but this was the pinnacle of it. Jeff Cobb in this tournament was on fire. He wasn't the MVP of the tournament, but this was definitely like some of the best Jeff Cobb matches I've seen since his days in Lucha Underground as Matanza Cuero. I'll go as far as saying that much. Minoru Suzuki versus Kota Ibushi from day 13. Notice a trend here. 3 day 13 matches. Hands down the best day of the tournament. Minoru Suzuki versus Kota Ibushi from day 13. Stiff striking. Everything you'd want from Kota Ibushi and Minoru Suzuki match was in here. It was absolutely great. And I feel like it's a little overrated because people were acting like this is the greatest match they ever seen. It was fantastic. It was this, it was that. I'm like, all right, bro, calm down a little bit. Calm down. I know Minoru Suzuki. He's really great at what he does. I would even say he's outstanding at what he does. Kota Ibushi is the greatest wrestler to ever live. But this is not the greatest match ever seen. And I don't even think it was the greatest match of the entire tournament. So, I don't know a little bit. But it was great. It was great. Definitely check out if you have time. Tomohiro Ishii versus Jay White. This was amazing. Amazing. I love this match so much. Jay White in here doing his shtick, chopping the hell out of Ishii, keeping him grounded, targeting the leg. Ishii keeping his ground, doing his Stone Pitbull spots. They had matches in the past before, but this one was really, really on top of its game. And I don't want to speak too much on it, but Ishii did beat Jay White here. Shocker of the century. Everything about it, I just loved. I loved the match. And I would definitely say it was my favorite match of A Block. I would maybe even put over Shingo and Okada. Maybe, if not, right on that level. I would say Ishii versus Jay White was my favorite match of A Block. Bar none. But those are my top 10 matches of the G1 Climax tournament. Top 6 from A Block, top 4 from B Block, top 4 from B Block. Tell me what you guys think down below. MVP, not the actual MVP from WWE. He was in New Japan at one point. Actually, little fun fact if you didn't know, MVP was actually the first ever IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Bet you didn't know that. Yeah, he is. But most valuable player of A Block. Who, in my opinion, was the MVP of A Block? Who was the guy who putting on the most consistently great performances? My opinion, it was Minoru Suzuki. I know the easy answer is Kota Ibushi or Jay White or Ishii, but Minoru Suzuki was in here, and he had, I would say, bar none, like really good matches with everybody. Like the minimum might have been good. The minimum was good. Ishii did not have a bad performance at all in this tournament. Maybe Okada, I would say, was his worst match, but even that was good in my opinion, and it was mostly due to Suzuki. Like, he was just on fire, and he was doing tilt-a-whirls. He was doing the best transitions I've ever seen him, and this man is 53 years old. It's ridiculous. I want to be that agile 53 years old. I'm not even an agile 23 years old. This man got 30 years on me, and he's faster, more agile, and scarier than me. That's kind of depressing. That is depressing. Anyway, MVP of B Block. Who in my opinion was the best of B block? Like I said earlier, it's Tetsuya Naito. Tetsuya Naito carried this damn block. If he wasn't here, that block would have been in the shitter. The man went in here. He had a great match with Tanashi. He had a great match with Sanada. And no, I didn't put him on the list of top 4 B block matches. I like the match with Juice. I like this match with Goto. I like this match with Yoshihashi. I didn't think he had a bad match in here. Like, even though the match with Yana wasn't everybody's cup of tea, it wasn't bad. I didn't think it was a bad match. So, yeah, the dude was just on fire. So, Minoru Suzuki, Tetsuya Naito with MVPs of the block. Matches of the tournament, easy answer. Tomohiroishi versus Jerry from day 17 of A block. And Tetsuya Naito versus Hiroshi Tanashi from day 2 of B block. You know, I may have only said that just to appease the Puro fans. Low-key, Evil versus Yoshihashi was the best match of B block. But moving on. Then we're going to get into our review of G1 Climax 30, the finals. But first, let me take a swig of some agua. Gotta clear my throat there. Alright, so let's get into the whole G1 Climax Finals from the undercard all the way to the main event. First match we had in here was Toru Yano, Tomohiroishi, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. Oh, wait. Excuse me. versus El Desperado, Doki, or Dookie, either one. Zack Sabre Jr. and Lord Taichi. I mean, it's every 8-man New Japan tag match ever. Every guy gets in the ring, they face off against their potential opponents or people they're currently feuding with. You get some good tag action. Around 10 minutes in, somebody wins. It's a formula. Anyway, while Doki and Yoshihashi were the legal men in this match, ZSJ and Taiji came in here. They hit their tag finisher, which I think is really just an assisted Black Mephisto. But they hit their tag finisher onto YH, and Doki gets draped over him and gets the pinfall. So Suzuki-gun winning this match. After the match, they all took turns beating down Chaos. But most notably, it was Ishii and Toru Yano getting beat down by the tag champions ZSJ and Taichi. So that looks to be the next program. At least that may be an indicator of who wins World Tag League, but we will see. We'll see. Then we get into the next match, Minoru Suzuki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Shingo Takage and Hiromu Takahashi. I marked out really hard when Hiromu came out because I missed that man. This is the first G1 in years, maybe even ever, who knows, that we had no tag matches whatsoever in this entire tournament. They were all undercard matches, were just young line matches. And it was the same match over and over again. Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura versus Gabriel Kidd, Yota Tsuji versus Gabriel Kidd. It was the same 3 matches, which got super redundant by like day 7. So I don't think anyone really cared after that point, but it was still really good. But without the tag matches there, you really do miss a lot of the guys who weren't there. And Hiromu was one of them. And he had the energy that you would come to expect from Hiromu. And one matchup that I never knew I wanted to see until it happened. Minoru Suzuki and Hiromu Takahashi. Talk about 2 polar opposites. You have the avant-garde, crazy, over-the-top Hiromu Takahashi. And then the blank, well, I can't even say blank face, but the scowling, sinister Minoru Suzuki in a ring with each other. And I really enjoyed all the spots they had, and mainly because I just wanted to see all the spots they had with each other. But there's one this really cool, funny spot in here where Minoru Suzuki puts Hiromu in like this Boston Crab, and he looks at Yoshinobu. Yoshi was like, "Yeah, tag me." Rather than let Takahashi go, this man, still holding on to Takahashi in this Boston Crab, walks over with Takahashi, still in his legs, still in his arms, and tags in Yoshinobu. I almost busted a damn gut laughing at that spot. Like, that spot was just so funny. I love that spot too much. Hiromu, he ended up getting the pin over Kanemaru in this match, so that's a nice setup for him to win BOSJ. That's my prediction once again. Hiromu to win BOSJ. Let's go. Two-time BOSJ winner will be Hiromu Takahashi. Not back-to-back like one guy who I'll talk about later, but, you know, 2-time winner. Let's go. Next match we have in here, Master Wato, Juice Robinson, Jeff Cobb, and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Geto, Taiji Ishimori, Kenta, and Jay White. It was a match. It was definitely a match. Definitely an 8-man tag. One thing I will note in here is that we saw, and it was at the very beginning when the bell rung, we saw Master Wato and Taiji Ishimori in a ring with each other, and it was some spotty goodness. Some spotty goodness. I really enjoyed what they had in here. Hurricanranas, fast-paced action. I'm actually really excited to see if they're going to match up with each other in BOSJ. If we get that single block like I said maybe we might get, then we'll absolutely see it. But if it's 2 blocks, then probably not, because I don't see Master Wato winning BOSJ. I know they built him up at New Japan Cup, but he hasn't really done shit since since his debut. He hasn't done shit. So I don't think Master Wato's winning a damn thing this year. He might come close. If they want to throw him a bone, maybe he wins a block, but he's not winning the entire thing. But Ishimori Master Wato is something that I want to see, because this was definitely proof that they can have some magic in the ring. Tanashi did end up tapping out Geto to win a match for his team, but that wasn't the big news. The big news came after the match. After the match, we got a VTR during intermission that for the first time this year, New Japan announced Wrestle Kingdom. Believe it or not, New Japan has been very, very silent about Wrestle Kingdom this entire year. Even before COVID ruined and fucked up their plans, they weren't talking about Wrestle Kingdom. Then they came back, no mention of Wrestle Kingdom whatsoever. I don't even think the commentators, and mind you, English commentary was for certain shows. I don't even think Kevin Kelly, Rocky Romero, and Chris Carlton even once talked about Wrestle Kingdom. And if they did, it's very brief. But no mention up until now. They announced that on January 4th, 2021, they'll be back in the Tokyo Dome, so they're not moving out of the dome. That's good to hear. For Wrestle Kingdom 15. But it didn't end there. Immediately after, we saw the date. January 5th, 2021. Followed by a Wrestle Kingdom 15 logo, confirming that we will be once again blessed with 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom for the 2nd year in a row. I am going to tell you once again, as I tell you every single time I get a chance to, that I was in attendance for Wrestle Kingdom 14, both nights. And I can say, 2-night Wrestle Kingdom, I love it. I mean, who doesn't love a 2-night event of big magnitude? So we've seen it so many times this year already. With Wrestle Kingdom was the starter. Then you saw that with WrestleMania 2 nights. Then we had Fyter Fest as 2 nights. Then you had NXT. They had 2 nights of Great American Bash. It was just 2 nights all around for everything this year. Wrestle Kingdom is really that precursor. Now they're going back to it. And a big question I had coming out of this, not so much a question, but really interesting choice for New Japan to go with 2 nights during this climate. Because let's not act like COVID doesn't exist in Japan. I know it's running rampant over here in the United States and it'll never go away. In Japan, it's definitely mellowed out a little bit. Way far less cases than we do have here in America. But it's still existing over there. There's still people who get COVID every day. There's still people who die every day in Japan. It's just not as bad. And they're able to contain themselves better than we are over here and in any other part of the world. But they're running a Tokyo Dome show. Tokyo Dome, I believe, maxes out at 50,000 people. Now, I saw on Twitter, and I can't remember who said it on Twitter, so I apologize to whoever said it. I can't credit you. I didn't bookmark it. But I did see somebody on Twitter, and I don't know if it's credible or not, but they said that New Japan is going to be doing a partial capacity of 30,000 people or 20,000 people, which that's not 50,000, but 20,000, 30,000, anything really above 1,000 is a lot of damn people. That's a lot of people to fit into a dome during a pandemic. So, I don't know how they're going to do that, because when I was at the Dome last year, let me say this. It was great to be there. The atmosphere was amazing. The experience was breathtaking and one I'll never forget. One thing I will definitely never forget was how fucking close those seats were. When I was in Arena A, I was on the floor, which I will say, being Arena B for night 1 it was not everything I dreamed of. Like, I was far back. I barely saw anything because I wasn't like 5'11", so I barely really saw anything. I had to really look at the screen for, I would say, a lot of the show. But Arena B on night 2 was not Arena B. Arena 1F stand was where I was on night 2, which was basically not in the stands, but like that. It's basically the section of seats before you get to the floor. That's where I was. I was Arena F stand, 1F, and I got a great view of really everything. I saw the ramp, I saw the ring. I wasn't super far to where I couldn't see who was coming out, but I could hear the theme. Like, I literally saw everything, and it was great. Next year I go, I'm going to get Arena F stand seats. Unless it's Arena A. I'm probably not doing Arena B ever again. Those seats were super, like, when I tell you, like, the guy who sat next to me, shout out to John. I remember his name. It was Gio, who sat next to me at Wrestle Kingdom. I have him on Instagram. Good buddy. I got to hit him up soon. But I sat next to him. Me and this dude were like shoulder and shoulder. Not shoulder and shoulder. We were elbow and elbow, basically. If I put my elbow in the seat and he put his elbow in the seat, we were touching. That's how close we were. If I wanted to lean over 1 inch, I basically could kiss the fucking guy. That's how close I was. The guy in front of me, you know, if I put my knees like maybe 4 inches closer, I would be touching his head. Like, I'm not gonna make it seem like we were in a box and we were like, you know, lapping on each other, but we were close to each other. There was not a lot of space. So 30,000 people is gonna be interested to see how they pull that off. You're gonna have to do like at least 6 people apart from a seat, because like one seat was maybe like 1 foot. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But the other interesting choice about this is that you're running 2 shows. Now, last year we had a full roster. This year, yes, we did get some guys back. We got Kenta back. We got Juice back. We got Jay White back. We got a few guys back. After what show was it that we got these guys back? We got them back after Summer Struggle in August. But we're still missing Tama Tonga. We're still missing Tangaloa, El Phantasmo, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, Hikuleo, David Finlay, Carl Fredericks, Robbie Eagles, Rocky Romero, Mikey Nichols, Ren Narita, Shota Unomo, Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, Ryu Lee, Yo, still injured, the IWGP US champion Jon Moxley. Chris Jericho probably won't be there. There's still a lot of people. And not to mention, you don't have a big pool to pull from. So forget about ROH. Forget about CMLL. They don't have a big body count for 2 nights, in my opinion. So the fact that they're doing 2 nights at the Dome is super bold. Super bold. I really am curious about how they're going to pull that off. What's probably going to end up happening is you're going to see a lot of tag matches. We're going to see a lot of tag matches on these shows. We're going to probably see like a tag match for one night, and then the night after we'll see a singles match between the 2 guys who are in the tag match. That's my prediction for what wrestling might look like, which I don't really think I'm crazy for. But hey, 2 nights of content for me, 2 nights of action for me, I'm not mad at it at all. But that was the announcement of Wrestle Kingdom. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's resume back with the G1 Climax Finals. After that, we got Will Ospreay in the Great Okan with B. Priestley versus Kazuchika Okada in show. So, it should be important to note that at the A Block Finals, we had Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay, which was originally, I think, going to be the main event and ended up being changed to the 3rd match in, which I'm glad it did. Because not only was it not the best match of the show, but it also, I mean, honestly and truly, with the angle they did, that could have ended the show. No, I wouldn't have like batted an eye at it. But I think Ishii versus Jay White should have main evented, so I'm actually kind of happy it didn't. But on that show, Will Ospreay and Okada had their match. We saw the appearance, I want to say debut, but she's not wrestling in New Japan. But the appearance of B. Priestley. Yes, Stardom's former World of Stardom champion and boyfriend of Will Ospreay, B. Priestley, came out during this match and basically interfered. And not just her, but we saw Tomoyuki Oka, the former Young Lion New Japan, now under the gimmick the Great Okarn. What's his name before? The Great Okarn came out. He one-handed chokeslam Okada. And then Ospreay basically hit a Stormbreaker and won the match and pinned Okada. He needed help to beat him. But this solidified the heel turn that we all wanted to see from Will Ospreay. And hey, New Japan saw an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone by having a heel turn, and they incorporated Stardom into the show. And they brought back the online. That's 3 birds. That's 3 birds to kill one stone, actually. So, kudos to New Japan. They got some shit done. They got some stuff done. Post-match interview, Ospreay proclaimed that he is done with Chaos and that he is starting up his own faction, presumably, we can assume, with B. Priestley and the Great O'Karn. So, the Empire may be the new name of the faction. Ospreay's leading his own faction. I don't really take Ospreay much of a leader. So, that should be very, very interesting. But hopping into the match itself, today we got to see these two pairing, Ospreay and the Great O'Karn. His name is not the Great O'Karn. They changed that in like 1 day's notice, which I'm glad they did because Great O'Karn doesn't sound right. So, how did they pair as a tag team? I thought they did okay. Like, the chemistry, obviously, they don't team up very often, if not at all. They obviously got to work on that. There were some tags, there were some moves in here. There was one spot in here that was just really, I know what they were trying to do, but it was really weird. So, you have Sho. He's like, he's on the apron, not the apron. He's on the turnbuckle, head to the turnbuckle, like he's about to get put into a back suplex spot or whatever. You have the Great O'Karn gets on the top rope and sits on the head of Sho Tanaka. I'm thinking this dude's probably ripping a wet one on his neck. I don't know. Now you have Will Ospreay and B. Priestley putting their foot over the Sho. And then the Great O'Karn's just standing there like, whoo, like I'm a big bad guy. I got my ass on this guy's face. Like, in theory, on paper, that sounded cool, but it just did not. It didn't really work for me. So they got to work on a few things. And then I got to comment on the Great O'Karn. This guy's still very much green in my opinion. I mean, there wasn't a lot of substance to him. The gimmick, the attire was cool. I think the attire definitely stands, like, out of a lot of the New Japan wrestlers we have, he stands out the most. Like, he does not look like your average New Japan wrestler. Not that a lot of New Japan wrestlers look alike, but he looks different. And that's good, because that's a trademark, that's his own identity. In the ring, however, there wasn't a lot of dynamic offense in there. It was really, I almost felt like Bad Luck Fale wrestled this match, But he has his finish. I think it's just a one-hand choke slam, which really, that isn't even that cool either. And I think maybe part of it is just that he doesn't really look like a monster. Like, I feel like this is a guy who is working like a monster, but he looks nothing like one. It's like a kid that's wearing his dad's shoes. It feels like the Great O'Karn right now. Like, I'm not sitting here saying the Great O'Karn should be busting you out like 630 sentons and all that, but I feel like what he's going for, what he looks like, it doesn't really fit. And just looks kind of awkward. And maybe for me, I need to grow into it. I haven't been watching him as long. It's only been one day after all. Maybe I need to give it some more time, but First impressions of him. B. Priestley as a manager role, I'm fine with that. I mean, how often, if not ever, do you see a female manager in Stardom outside of Peter and Mio Abe? And we haven't seen Mio Abe since like the beginning of the year, so it's really just Peter right now. Like, B. Priestley being from Stardom on this show, that's good for them. Maybe this opens the door for a Stardom match at Wrestle Kingdom again. Probably untelevised again, but, we won't see it. I saw the first untelevised match at the Tokyo Dome, by the way. I won't see the second one, but hopefully it's televised with B. Priestley versus Mayu Iwatani. Let's go. Rematch. I'm ready for it. Mayu probably will win that match too, but nonetheless. So, I think B is... She's okay as a manager. I think Great O'Karn needs some work. Will Ospreay. First match as a full-on heel. His mannerisms came off as a bit off-putting to me. Like, add on top of that, he's still maintaining a lot of the offense he uses as a babyface. Like, the man, we know he does flips. That's Ospreay. He's spotty. He toned down. Ever since becoming a heavyweight, he toned down a little bit. But, like, people pretend like he toned down a lot and he's doing fucking lariats and shit, and he's like lifting people up and all that kind of, like, Ospreay is not acting like a true heavyweight. He's acting like a heavyweight who just so happens to have been from the junior division. That's what he acts like. He portrays that he is very much still tapping into his roots a lot of the time, but he's in heavyweight class, and that's what I felt like here. I felt like I should have saw a little bit more aggression. He didn't come off as aggressive in this match. And maybe that's not his character. Maybe he's not the aggressive type. I don't know what he's supposed to be. It just came across as weird. I felt like he was playing a douche, even though he's already a douche. Like, he's trying to add on to what he already is. And that, I felt like, to me, didn't really come across all that well. It felt kind of forced and incomplete. I know it sounds like I'm tearing apart the Empire on day one, but first impressions, yeah. But hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, much like the Empire wasn't built in a day, so I'll give it time. I'll give it time to see it out. But first impressions are not really all that fun right now. Will Ospreay won the match here with a figure 4 leg lock, which also is very confusing because, to my knowledge, I don't think he's ever won the match with the figure 4 leg lock. Very abnormal, considering he is not a submission-based wrestler. I'm speaking way too fast. I'm slowing down. Got to slow down a little bit. I just feel like it didn't fit at all, in my opinion. And so far, not vibing with the Empire. But we say it again. Rome is built in a day. We'll give it time. We move into the co-main event. Bushi and Tetsuya Naito versus Evil and Yujiro Takahashi. Wasn't as visceral, but I've been speaking for an hour and 10 minutes, so leave me alone. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Anytime I see Naito and Evil sharing the same ring, I instantly don't care. Like, that's my mindset now. I've seen 3 Evil versus Naito matches in a span of like 4 months. I'm a little over Naito and Evil at this point. So add in Bushi, whom we all know is in here to take the pin. He's a good wrestler, but he's a loser. And the very undynamic Yujiro Takahashi. And walking into this match, I was bored. Walking out of this match, I didn't really feel like anything was really accomplished. We saw Evil tap out Bushi, which he's done already before. He's done like multiple times already. And then he laid out Naito, which is every tag team match that we've seen between Evil and a Bullet Club member versus Bushi, Naito, Hiromu, whatever. It's the same finish. Nothing new. That leads us into the main event. The G1 Climax Finals itself. Kota Ibushi versus Sanada. I really badly want to like this match. I really do. I really badly want to like this match. It's the G1 Climax Finals. It's the culmination of the tournament. But it was very underwhelming. I won't say it was bad because I don't think it was a bad match. I think my first viewing, I was on call with Joseph Monticello. Shout out to Joseph Monticello on YouTube. Go subscribe to his channel. He's awesome. He's a video essay YouTuber. He does a lot of wrestling content. He's great. He's amazing. Go check him out. I was in here with Joseph, and Joseph, he's very critical. I love him to death, but he is a hard critic. And when he says this match sucks, more likely match sucks. So I think that maybe I was a little influenced by the Joseph in the call at the time. So I said, you know what? Before I go live, I'm gonna rewatch this match, just to make sure that Joseph didn't influence me too much on me not liking the match as much. So I watched it back, and I can say I didn't think it was bad like I did in my first round, but it was not this grade A 5-star classic. Like, I feel like a lot of people online were pretending like this is the greatest match of the tournament when it was not. It's not even in the top 20 category of matches that I've seen in this tournament. The match was just, first of all, there were like 6 or 7 botches in this match, which there are not that many botches in the G1 Climax Finals. If we're going to compare this on the standards of a G1 Finals, this is like bottom of the barrel. This was the worst G1 Finals I've ever seen. If we're doing this on a standard of a New Japan match, it was good. I felt like if you would have slotted in Jay White versus Ishii, Shingle versus Okada, or Naito versus Tanashi in a spot, people would have been like, yeah, that was a G1 Finals. This did not feel like the G1 Finals to me. If you would have showed me this match and did not tell me this was a G1 Climax Finals, told me this happened on A Block, I would have believed you and been like, yeah, this was a good match, but where's the finals at? This didn't feel like the finals to me. The pacing of it, first of all, the pacing was slow in the beginning, which I expected. It's a New Japan match. Epics are all slow, but Sanada was trying to chop with Ibushi and trying to trying to lock up with it, and it just wasn't Sanada. Like, Sanada was trying to go at Ibushi. No, Ibushi was going at Sanada's pace, and that was the first mistake. Ibushi should have sped up and had Sanada going at him at 10 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour. The issue was that Ibushi was trying to be all technical with Sanada, and that didn't make for any interesting television. Then as it progressed, it started to kick into high gear. And then we got some hope spots with like one hope spot with Sanada, basically. Then it went back to being half and half. And that was, I think, the issue in here. There wasn't really a big, like, oh, this guy is dominating and he has to make a comeback. It was really half and half for a lot of it. It felt like this guy did a move. Sanada did a move. Ibushi did a move. Both guys are down. They get back up. Ibushi doing a move. Sanada doing a move. They get back up. Get knocked down. It felt like it was, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to go to the finish. That's what this match felt like. It didn't feel like there was any anticipation. You didn't have that big fight feel. And yes, I know the crowd wasn't cheering and going ballistic like every G1 Finals ever. Yes, that did play into why this match may not have been as great. But let's not act like the crowd is the sole purpose behind why a match is awesome. People act like, oh my god, there's no crowd. This match can't be as good without the crowd. God, it's been 8 months. If by now you're not used to there being no crowd noise, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. It's about to be November. We've been dealing with no crowd shows since March. We got claps. We got some spots where the crowd was going, ah. If you are that depressed about crowds at this time, then bro, I don't know what to tell you, honestly. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, the crowd at this point, yes, it does affect it somewhat, but it's not to a staggering degree like people pretend like it is. So, that being said, by the end stretch, you didn't even feel like a New Japan Epic. It didn't feel like a New Japan Epic at the end stretch. Yes, Sanada did the cold skull sleeper, and he was putting down Ibushi, and Ibushi kept dodging and getting out of the way, and Ibushi was selling the leg. But, you know, Ibushi hits his, I don't think Sanada hit his TKO. There was a few moves Sanada hit in this match with Naito that he didn't even hit in this match here. He didn't even hit it here. So then you get to the finish. Ibushi, the one spot that scared the hell out of me, and everybody was on Twitter about it, like, they cheated Sanada. And you all know what I'm talking about. Sanada does his pin, which you basically just call the Sanada pin, because that's the pin he uses to beat everybody with, which is basically that, what is it? Not the O'Connor, it's the O'Connor roll bridging pin. He does it on Ibushi. Referee counts 1, 2, and as referee's hand is coming down, it feels like Sanada about to get this victory. The crowd's into it. My heart is about to stop, about to skip a beat, and I'm about to just flatline, and then Ibushi kicks out. And it felt like for just a smidgen of a second, it should have been 3, but Ibushi kicked out. And the crowd, on the second watch back, I didn't hear this the first time, but on the second watch back, you can audibly hear the crowd boo. Like, you can legit hear the crowd. If you have not seen this match, or you've seen it once, watch it again and watch that spot. You can hear the crowd boo when the referee said it was 2. Like, the crowd was so unamused and so pissed that Sanada did not win that match. And I almost laughed my ass off at that too. But after that, they went for like 2 more minutes. Ibushi had a Kamaguye. Sanada kicked out. Then he had another Kamaguye. And that was it. And I'm like, oh. Alright, so yeah, let's go, Ibushi. Like, I was excited that Ibushi won. But I was also like, well, that was kind of warming. Like, I feel like that was like, I seen Ibushi in 2 G1 finals. Tanahashi. And I seen him in the ring with Jay White last year. And both of those matches were 5 stars. Amazing. I was even saying Tanahashi and Ibushi was above 5 stars. This match, if I had to give it a weighing between 1 and 5, and I don't like doing star ratings, you guys know that. I've been doing 1 through 10. So let me do a 1 through 10 rating. If I had to grade this match on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this match a 7. This match would get a 7 from me. I thought it was good at best, and nothing more than that. And that was your G1 Climax Finals review. Overall, I thought day 13 was better than this day. I'll be honest, the best day of this tournament was day 13. When you had every match you could ever imagine that would happen and deliver, it was there. So, go watch that day back and not this day. No, I mean not say that. But yeah, that was that. So now, all that G1 stuff and New Japan stuff out of the way. G1's now over. Let's talk a little about AEW Dynamite. A little bit about AEW Dynamite. So last week's Dynamite was pretty in my opinion. We had a good tag match with FTR and SC. It was the 1 year anniversary. Well, technically the 1 year anniversary was on October 2nd. But it was their 1 year anniversary show. Big show. All the titles were on the line. And I thought it was still pretty in. FTR versus SCU, I thought that was good. Didn't like the finish, but it was good. I have zero clue what the hell they're doing with Kip Sabian and Miro. Especially, what the hell are they doing with Miro? What is going on with this guy? This man has been as he said, he was in prison in WWE trying to grab a brass ring that he couldn't reach. And F. Vince McMahon, all this and that, in his first debut. He comes in AEW. Makes his debut as Miro's best man for his wedding that has yet to happen. And what is it? What is it called? The reception. The reception, whatever, what is it called before the wedding? It's the bachelor party that has yet to happen still. How long has it been? A month that we have not seen this segment, and it hasn't been announced yet at all. He was the best man. It was an okay debut. Then his first match in AEW, tag match with him, Kip versus Joey Janella and Sonny Kiss. That match was terrible. It was the worst debut match you can have in a company. It wasn't even Miro's fault. I thought a lot of it was just Joey and Sonny were not on the same page, and there was botches. It was just not good. Then he had another tag match, and that was not really all that memorable either. Then he had a match in here, and that wasn't really that good either. And then he keeps getting these segments. He had this one segment with the one guy, the one gamer guy, and that never went anywhere. Like, you left WWE for this? Like, I'm not saying he should have stayed in WWE because they would have just kept on fucking with him and screwing with his character. But damn, like, you came from one company doing a great gimmick that they were never acknowledging to coming to another company to doing whatever the hell they're doing with him now. Like, okay, I'm not saying that he should have came to AEW and won the AEW World Championship on day one. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he should have had a Brock Lesnar run as soon as he came or anything. But to have him doing this because it's really comedy stuff. He's doing with Kip Sabian here. I mean, someone got sent into an arcade machine and Miro got pissed. It was the best friends on this match. Best friends got sent into an arcade cabinet and it pissed them off and they beat down the best friends. And Rusev said, "Game over." And I'm like, what the hell are you what is this? He was speaking, what's the language he speaks? He speaks Bulgarian, which immediately, when he started speaking Bulgarian during his promo, I said, am I watching WWE right now? Are you really speaking Bulgarian? Because that's such a WWE thing to do. And then he said game over, and I'm like, you know what? Game over for you, Rusev. I don't know what that, Miro, whatever he is. Depressing what he's doing right now. I really hope that when this wedding finally happens, whenever the hell that happens, that he kicks Kip in the face and he leaves him and he goes on a singles run. Because he needs it. The longer he's with Kip Sabian, the worse off he is. And I'll leave it at that. MJF and Chris Jericho got more development here. They're having a dinner date this week on Dynamite. Orange Cassidy and Cody. I thought they had a damn good match. Plagued by a botch finish, but overall I enjoyed it. It's now confirmed that not only will Darby Allen be challenging for the TNT Championship at Full Gear, but Cody and Orange Cassidy will be rematching for the TNT Championship in 2 weeks. So, in 2 weeks, Orange Cassidy will be getting his third TNT Championship match. Why are you giving Orange Cassidy another TNT Championship match? I'm not even mad that they're giving him another one. I'm mad they're giving him this damn close. He faced Brody Lee, 3 weeks ago? And lost. Pretty clean, might I add. Pretty clean, he lost to Brody Lee. Then he had a match with Cody last week. And he lost to Cody. Well, I mean, he didn't lose. It was a time limit draw. But he didn't win. Now they're getting a rematch. I don't know why. I don't know why you're having Orange Cassidy do all this if he's not going to win. Like, okay, here's where I'm at right now. Darby Allin's getting the championship match at Double or Nothing. At Full Gear. Great. the match should be Cody versus Darby Allen, because that's the feud we've been doing for the last year since AEW started, is Cody versus Darby Allen. They had their match at Fyter Fest. I believe it was Fyter Fest in 2019. Cody won. They had another match, I believe it was on a Dynamite or something like that Cody won. Then they had another match on Dynamite for the TNT Championship tournament that Cody won. Darby has yet to beat Cody, and I feel like this is the moment for Darby to beat Cody. And it should happen at Full Gear. If Orange Cassidy beats Cody, then it's going to be Orange Cassidy versus Darby Allin, which might be a great match, but it's not the match I want to see. I want to see Darby versus Cody. As much as I don't like Cody right now, I want to see him finally give Darby that championship. So no, I don't want to see Orange Cassidy win, which sucks because I do want to see Orange Cassidy as TNT champion, and I think he should be TNT champion, but this is not the time to do it. Therefore, they should have waited on this match. So now they're going to have to do this match again and have Orange Cassidy lose, because if Orange Cassidy wins, then I don't understand what the hell they did all this for. Yes, I understand, Orange Cassidy lost 2 times, then wins the second time, then wins the third time, 3 times the charm, but you could have done this after Double or Nothing. You could have done this with Darby and Orange Cassidy. Now I'm hearing people saying Orange Cassidy wins and it's a triple threat at Full Gear with Orange Cassidy, Cody, and Darby. That's corny. I don't want to see that. It will be a great match, but that's a corny way to get to Cody and Darby. Because then what you're going to do? You're going to have Darby beat Cody at a triple threat match? I don't know. No, it's a feud between 2 men. Let those 2 men feud. So why they're doing a third Orange Cassidy match when he's going to lose, I don't have any idea. It's not doing any favors for him. So, yeah. I love the match they had this week, but 2 weeks from now, if Orange Cassidy were to, get taken out by somebody he's going to be feuding with soon, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all. Big Swole versus Hikaru Shida, that was a flop on a stick. I don't know what happened in that match. It was not good, I'll tell you that much. Then the main event was Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer, which I thought was decent. I don't know if I would even say it was better than Wrestle Kingdom match, but it was decent. And I hate this finish. Not just the finish that happened here, but this finish in general always makes me angry. Because Cody did with Darby and it pissed me off, and Jon Moxley did it here with Lance Archer and it pissed me off. So in this spot, in this finish, Jon Moxley gets hit with a blackout, which is Lance Archer's finisher. Lance Archer goes for a lazy pin, which is where he drapes his back over Jon Moxley and basically pins him. Jon Moxley hooks both of Lance Archer's arms and does a crucifix pin and wins the match. I hate this because it immediately nullifies whatever move was just hit on you. When Darby did the coffin drop on Cody and Cody countered into a crucifix, I hated that because you basically no-sold the coffin drop. And here, Jon Moxley basically no-sold the crucifix. He no-sold the blackout. It was madness. I did not like it. I didn't like it at all. Then after the match, you had Lucha Bros come out here. They attacked Lance Archer, who then looked at them and left, which, okay. Eddie Kingston gets in the ring. He's like, yeah, give it up for Jon Mox. You're the champ. I'm not going to beat you. You're the champ. You represent this company. Eddie Kingston cutting an Eddie Kingston promo. Always great on the mic. And then they all attack him. Lucha Bros and Eddie. They attack Jon Moxley. And it looks like they're setting up Eddie versus Jon Moxley Full Gear. It's not confirmed yet. But Full Gear's in 3 weeks. 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks. I think the direction we're going in is Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley Full Gear. Even though it just happened, we're getting a Full Gear, which I'm not going to say I don't like it, because I feel like they probably can have a hardcore match like the likes of Kenny and Jon Moxley did last year. And with Eddie, it's going to be gruesome. But Eddie just lost to Jon Moxley already. Like, he's a loser. So how is he getting a rematch when he's a loser? What did he do to earn the match? That's my question. And I don't know how they're going to rectify it. I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe Jon Moxley challenges Eddie. That'd be a nice twist. But how are they going to rectify how Eddie's getting a rematch when he lost already? Same reason with with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy didn't technically lose. So, okay, that makes sense. Eddie did lose. So how are we going to get from point A to point B? I'm curious to see how that happens. It's not confirmed. We could easily just get something else at Full Gear, and I don't know what else that would be, but that's that. So this week on Dynamite, we're going to be getting the following. Chris Jericho and MJF are having a steak dinner. It's going to be a nice segment. I don't know what comes of it, but we're going to further the feud between Chris Jericho and MJF. I do think we probably will end up getting Chris Jericho versus MJF at Full Gear. And if we do, I'm going to say that it's for control of Inner Circle, with MJF winning and kicking Chris Jericho out. That's what I would do, at least. We're also getting the Young Bucks versus Private Party versus Butcher and the Blade versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds in a #1 contenders fatal 4-way tag team match. It should be really good. Should be really spotty. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks to win. We finally get the Young Bucks versus FTR at Full Gear. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I've been ready for it for 2 years now. Let's do it. Then we get into the AEW Eliminator Tournament to determine the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship at a future date. I don't think they're doing the whole Deadly Games things from Survivor Series where they have a match and then the winner goes on to face the champion. I don't think that's happening. Good, but I don't think it will. So we have 4 matches happening on this show, which is honestly, I love it because AEW, they tend to do tag matches, like more tag matches than singles matches on their shows, which I'm not complaining about, but tag matches feel more special. And the fact that we're getting 4 singles matches on this show, I'm here for it, bro. Let's go. So the first one we're getting is on the right side of the bracket. Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. That should be a really good David Goliath match, and I'm going to say that Wardlow wins. Also in the right bracket, Hangman Page versus Colt Cabana. Why is Colt Cabana in this tournament? I have zero clue. You know, what would have made sense if we got Hangman Page versus Brody Lee. Because Brody Lee and Hangman Page had a little bit something going on for a while during that little Dark Order Kenny Omega Hangman Page feud that sounded like it just abruptly ended. That would have made a lot more sense. Colt Cabana being in here, I don't get. I don't really care to see him advance either. Easy answer is Hangman Page. Maybe you advance further with the Colt Cabana being kicked out of Dark Order. I don't give I don't care about Colt Cabana. I'll be honest. I don't care for this dude and him being in the Dark Order. If he was out of the Dark Order, maybe, but like him in the Dark Order, I don't care. So Hangman Page wins, and we'll get Wardlow versus Hangman Page on the following week. The next match, I am so excited for. Pentagon L0m versus Phoenix. Brother versus brother. It may have happened in Lucha Underground. I don't remember it happening. But this match is going to fuck so hard. It's going to be oh my god. You have 2 Lucha Libre type wrestlers in this match. Phoenix more so. Phoenix is just outstanding at everything he does. Pentagon is more of a violent striker. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Give these guys 10-15 minutes and it's going to be a classic. I'm going to go with Phoenix to win. Either person wins, I'm for it. Pentagon can win and I'll be like, go. Let's do it. Phoenix is my guess though. The main event is what I'm assuming will be the main event. Is Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. I'm assuming it's the main event because they've had a match before on AEW Dark, which is accredited as one of the best matches in AEW. I beg to differ, but hey. Easy answer, Kenny Omega wins. Joey Janela is not going to be AEW champion. So Kenny Omega wins this match. We're going to get Kenny Omega versus Phoenix. That's going to be great. Wardlow versus Hangman Page. Kenny Omega versus Phoenix is my prediction for the AEW Championship Tournament. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let your boy know. We're going to get into the question portion of this. Take a swig of this water real quick. So, on patreon.com/TylerMask, I asked you guys, hey, leave me questions. What do you guys want me to talk about here? And I got some questions here. First, from Mason Goldberg. Thoughts on the Power Struggle match card? So, Power Struggle's match card was revealed earlier this morning. I didn't talk about it earlier because I was going to wait to talk about it here. So, Mason Goldberg, I'm not going to do my predictions for the show because I'll do that on next week's episode or in 2 weeks before. There's going to be an episode of Chill Pill before Power Struggle. I'll do my predictions there, but I'm going to preview this card. First thing I will say right here that I love about this card is that it is all singles matches. I know it's hard to believe there is a New Japan show with nothing but singles matches, but guys, all singles matches. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. First match in here is a provisional for the KOPW 2020 trophy. I'm honestly, I didn't forget about it because Toru Yano's been holding it the entire tournament. But honestly, like, do y'all care? Do you guys care about this damn title that Okada spoofed into existence for God knows what reason? Toru Yano's defending against Zack Sabre Jr. That should be fun. I thought they had the best Yano match of B Block. I'm looking forward to it. I think Yano... Ooh, no predictions. I'm going to wait on it. But that should be good. Minoru Suzuki versus Shingle Takage for the Never Openweight Championship. I for sure thought this was going to be a Wrestle Kingdom match. And it may still be a Wrestle Kingdom match. But we're getting the match here. So that's going to be great. They had a really good match at Summer Struggle. Left some on the table. So we're going to see some more of that here. I'm ready for it. We have Kazuchi Okada versus the Great Okan. So, as I said, at G1 Finals, the Great Okan is green. Okada doesn't know how to wrestle anymore. So this match is going to suck. I'll say it right now, this match is going to suck real hard unless the Great Okan is some distinguished, exquisite wrestler that I have not seen before. This match is not going to be any good. We're having a rights to contract match. Kenta's defending his IWGP US Championship challenge at Wrestle Kingdom against Hiroshi Tanashi. I want to say that there is a great chance that John Moxie will be at the Dome, but I don't even know. Who knows? This match could be a match where the guy wins and then they open up the briefcase and the title's in the briefcase. like Money in the Bank this year with Asuka. I feel like that might happen at the I thought that might happen. That might happen, but no predictions. I'm looking forward to that. That should be good. We have another rights to challenge contract match as Kota Ibushi defends his challenge rights for the IWGP Heavyweight and IC Championship at Wrestle Kingdom against Jay White. That is going to be a really intriguing match because these two, I think they're going into their fourth match now. I think they're 2-2. Ibushi won the first match, Jay won the second match, and then what? No, this is their fourth, so technically they're 2-1, and Jay won the third match. So logic would say that Ibushi wins the fourth match and makes it 2-2, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Jay White, I was my peg to win the G1 Climax, and he didn't. Could Jay White be the one guy to win the briefcase outside of G1 Climax? I believe the last guy to do it was it Tanahashi when AJ won? I think it might have been Tanahashi. I don't remember who it was. But one other guy has done it. Can Jay White do it? Possibly. I'll leave it for another episode, though. And then the main event of the evening. The IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Tetsuya Naito defends his championship against Evil. Yes. You heard me right. For the fourth fucking time this year, we're getting Tetsuya Naito versus Evil. They love this match so much, I don't know why. I don't know. This match, it's not good. They haven't had a single good match this year. Why do they love this match so much? And I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen when Evil beat Naito at G1 Climax. I said this match is going to happen again, and I don't want to see it. Why? My question is, why is Sanada not a part of this match? Why couldn't this have been a triple threat? We had it before. You remember Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi versus Cody from King of Pro Wrestling 2018? Why couldn't we just get a triple threat match? Are they saving Sanada for 5 years from now? Like, I don't like Sanada, but damn, I would have rather seen Naito versus Sanada, honestly. Like, I am so sick of the Evil and Sanada matches that, like, the Evil and Naito matches that I would rather see Sanada in the spot. And you can clip it, you can put it on you can put it on Twitter, you can put it anywhere. I would rather have Sanada here. I'm done. I'm over it. Hell, I might even turn this show off but when this match comes on. That's how sick I am of this match. Sanada not being a part of this match is confusing to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I'll leave it at that. NJPW Fan 10. Do you think the pandemic has anything to do with the lackluster main event of G1 Climax this year? I think it depends on what you're talking about. Like, if you're referring to the match itself not being all that good, then I would have to say no, because the match itself, if it would happen in front of a vocal crowd, it would have had the same outcome. Like, it would have been the same quality match with or without a crowd. We're not talking about Okada here, who cries himself to sleep at night every day that there's no crowd reaction to him. But the match would have been the same with or without a crowd. Now, would the crowd reaction being more lively, would it have increased the match in some magnitude? Yeah, but I think the quality of the match would have stayed the same. Now, if we're talking about in terms of booking, then I don't really know. I think that's kind of hard to say because New Japan got screwed over by the pandemic so early in the year that it's really impossible to predict who would have won the G1 Climax this year very early on. Now, I think a lot of people still have Jay White pegged to win the G1 this year. If not, Jay was going to win the championship at Dominion. And if Jay White would have won the Dominion, then it would have been someone else winning the G1. I don't know. I honestly don't know who would have won the G1 if this G1 would have happened in August. And I have no idea, honestly. With Geto, you try to get in his head, but even then, he has something else planned, and you're supposed to trust the plan, trust Geto, like we're all told. Geto has us in the bag, apparently. Like, how many people guessed that Kota Ibushi is going to win the G1 this year? I'll say that again. I don't think many people did. I don't really think anyone did. And I don't believe that Kota Ibushi would have won the G1 Climax if COVID was not I don't think Kota Ibushi would have won the G1 Climax this year if COVID didn't exist. I don't know who it would have been, but I don't think it would have been Kota Ibushi. I think Kota Ibushi was just opportune. But hey, maybe he was the plan all along. Who knows? Maybe it was the plan all along. I'm happy that he won, though. So the answer to that question is a maybe. Lastly, from Mason Goldberg. Well, no, he has one more question. But another question from Mason Goldberg. Is Ospreay the new beginning title challenger if Okada loses at Wrestle Kingdom? So Mason Goldberg is assuming that we're getting Ospreay versus Okada at Kingdom, and I'll talk about Kingdom predictions a little bit later on, later in a different episode. But let's say that Ospreay versus Okada is a lock for Kingdom night 2. I say if Ospreay beats Okada, then yeah, I think it's a good chance we do see that match at New Beginning, where Ospreay challenges for the heavyweight and IC title. I think if the match doesn't happen, or if, let's say, Ospreay doesn't win, then I think Ospreay is not the challenger. I think Ospreay will challenge for that title at some point this year. I will say that. Early prediction, Ospreay will challenge for the heavyweight title at some point in 2021. Will he win it? Big question. Him being a leader of a faction now increases those chances of him winning it, but I don't think so. I don't know, but like I said, him being a leader changes everything. Now, he honestly could. And I think if it's Naito as a champion, probably. If it's Ibushi as a champion, even more likely. But we will see. We'll see. It could be Jay White if we're all know. Who knows? But lastly, Mason Goldberg asks, who does Jay White face at Wrestle Kingdom if he presumably loses against Kota Ibushi for the briefcase? I think, personally, and really just by watching the G1 and what was going on. I think it should be Evil versus Jay White. I think that this match has been set up already. The seeds were planted with Evil doing a low blow to Kenta and beating him in that fashion. Jay White was pretty pissed at him. Evil was like, "Oh, I don't care," basically in the post-match promos, and they've been kept apart this entire time. Think about that. This entire time that Jay White's returned, they have not crossed paths. Even tonight in the G1 Finals, they weren't in the same tag team match. Now, Road to Power Struggle, they could be in the same tag match, and that can make for some really interesting stuff, but I would hold off on that, personally. If they are kept apart, let's say until Power Struggle, let's say Evil versus Naito, main event, it's going. Dick Togo is doing Dick Togo things, and here comes Bullet Club. I think you can do a possible spot where Jay White, quote-unquote, indirectly costs Evil the match and Naito retains. And that would be the catalyst to a Jay White Evil match, because then you could possibly have Evil, like, push him, and they don't straight up go to blows or anything, but, there's tension there, you don't know what's happening. Jay White's like, "I'm gonna kick you out of this faction," and Evil's like, "I ain't going anywhere," and World Tag League's right there, right after Power Struggle. I would put Jay White and Kent as a team, and I would put Evil and Yujiro as a team, and boom, you can have an Evil and Jay White interlude right there in the World Tag League. That's how you do it. And then you can have, I don't know, maybe you have Evil pin Kenta again, and then there's your Wrestle Kingdom match. Jay White versus Evil. Winner is now the new leader of the Bullet Club, or still leader of the Bullet Club, and the loser must leave BC forever. That's my fantasy booking. That's how I think it probably will go. Will go that way. I'm not too sure. Also, one more thing before we get out of here. Kota Ibushi was at a press conference earlier today regarding Wrestle Kingdom and what's going on with that, the G1 briefcase. And he did go on to say this. I want to make something clear. Last year in this press conference, I said I wanted to become the first double IWGP champion. This year, I want to take those belts from Tetsuya Naito. But it has to be Naito. Nobody else. So make sure you keep those titles. So Kota Ibushi has solidified it. He's made it official. He wants Naito for both belts. So I don't know if they're splitting up the titles on night 2. I think that we're probably getting Ibushi Naito night 1, and then maybe Ibushi does 2 defenses on night 2, or I don't know what they're gonna do exactly. But just from that alone, we could be already knowing what night 1 entails. So with that all being said, if we are getting Bushi and Naito, then it's definitely got to be Jay White and Evil at the Dome. I don't know what else you do put Jay White in. I mean, if Okada's busy with Ospreay and Sanada's busy doing nothing, then, Evil's got to be facing Jay White. That's what I think is going to happen. That's my prediction. And that is Chill Pill Podcast episode 16. What did you guys think? Make me some comments down below, giving me your predictions for what's going forward in New Japan, your predictions for AEW, your thoughts on this podcast, what you want me to cover next, all that stuff on the YouTube comment section and then Patreon comment section. Also, what was I about to say? I lost my thought as I was speaking. I'm an old man. Leave me alone, okay? Also, before we head out of here, I will try and do another episode before Power Struggle and before AEW Full Gear, so look out for that in the coming weeks. No confirmation. I will be live on twitch.tv going forward, so follow me on twitch.tv/TylerSuplex. Sub to me on patreon.com. $5 tier gets you early access to this podcast. And then on Podbean, if you listen to this on Podbean, rate this podcast 5 stars and share it with all your friends. That's it. I'm outie. Love you guys. I will see you all in the next episode. Peace.